everybody, and welcome to another Outdoor Lifestyle Magazine interview. I'm really excited today because we have another great designer we're going to talk to today called Meaghan Chabot. Meaghan is, or runs a company called Meaghan Kennedy. They work out of Hamilton, Ontario, but they cover, wherever their work is what Meaghan has told me, anywhere around the GTA. Their work is beautiful, amazing, stunning, all of those superlatives. And at the end of this podcast today, we're going to show you some photos from a project, one of their showcase projects. And I can promise you it's absolutely amazing. It has it all, and the aesthetic and the feel of the space is just absolutely beautiful. The word staycation, backyard staycation comes to mind. Also, her company, herself and her company have won multiple awards with Landscape Ontario, which is the bar for designers in Ontario. So without further ado, I'm going to say hello to Meaghan. Hi, Meaghan.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Awesome. So listen, great to have you on the interview today. And I know this is 2020. It's been a strange year. We all know. But I think now coming towards the end of 2020, the outdoor lifestyle market and all it encompasses is very, very busy. I presume you're as busy as everybody else, right?
It's been a great year. At the start of things, I really didn't know what was going to happen. It was quiet for a little bit, and then all of a sudden people realized, I'm home. Let's do something here. And it's been an incredible year across the board. I hear from a lot of people that everyone's really busy. So I'm very, very thankful to still have a job and be employed through it all this.
Meaghan, tell me a little bit about you. The question we always ask people is why or how or when did you become a designer?
I think back to high school. I think is what comes to mind. And, they always ask you, what do you want to do for the rest of your days? And, you're 15 and, part of you has no idea, but, I think back to the interests I had then. And I always had an interest in architecture. I remember that, my parents bought a new build home. And the set of drawings that the architect gives you, the outline of the house, and it comes with, 3 different elevations and 3 different floor plans that fit within that one outline of the house. And I always thought that was, so interesting that you can see it a bunch of different ways. And I remember having a notebook just filled with floor plans. I would just doodle floor plans all day long, and they were probably ridiculous and didn't make any sense whatsoever, but it was fun. So come high school, I think it was my mom that had said, what about landscape design? I knew I didn't want to sit at a desk. I grew up cottaging since I was 4, so I love the outdoors, and I like people, working with people, and it's something different and fun to do every day. So it just evolved really nicely. And I thought about going to University of Guelph for their landscape architecture program, but in the end, I thought college was a better fit. I wanted to, gain some practical experience, and it teaches you all different, facets of the business, whether it's, irrigation or construction. And they had us out in the Arboretum working, and design, of course. And I think in the end, I knew that design was the way that I wanted to go. So I'm happy with the choice that I made.
That's great. The design, or the love for design was just there from an early age, really. You just kind of it was always there. You're doodling away, creating floor plans and stuff like that, and you just literally followed your passion.
Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, the program was good at Humber because it was a co-op program. So I worked for an arborist on my co-op program. So at one point, they wanted me to climb trees and prune trees. And I knew deep down that design was the way that I wanted to go. So I started venturing out and working for different companies. I worked for a nursery, so I learned a ton about plants and really unique plants, and worked for small landscape companies and larger firms. And before I ventured out on my own and knew exactly sort of the niche that I wanted to do. Yeah, I mean, trends are one thing, but you can get inspiration from anywhere, and it could just be the smallest little snippet, you know. I mean, you know, I'm a Pinterest troll as much as the next person, I suppose. And, you know, sometimes you could be working on a project and, you know, like, okay, I want a really cool arbor here. You know, the project's a little bit more on the modern side. So you type in modern arbor, you know, and all you need is one little small part, and, you know, you can just keep going further and further down the rabbit hole. And, you know, it's looking at what other people are doing. It's looking at what you see in the real world. I look to interiors for a lot of my inspiration as well too. You know, like, they're very fortunate that they can use, I mean, so many different materials, you know, different paint colors on walls, and stone choices on cabinets, and it's pulling those things and trying to use those same, you know, items and materials to create a room outside as well too. So that's the big thing that everybody wants, is these outdoor rooms, and make it cozy and an extension of your home. And it's, you know, right down to the lighting. You know, it all makes a big difference in how you create that warmth and that comfort for you outside, right?
Do you get clients? I mean, is it a mix, or do you get clients coming to you saying, "Oh, here, I've got all this stuff I've researched," and dumps it in your lap, or do you tend to try go cold, or what way do you or is it a mix?
Everybody's different. Sometimes, I mean, I always ask people, you know, if you have any inspiration, please give it to me. Sometimes people are a little apprehensive to share their ideas with me, because they want to say, well, hey, what would you do? And I can design anything, you know, that, you know, anything's possible,
of course,
right? But I need to know how you're going to use the space. So tell me all of your ideas. I'm not afraid to tell you, well, I think, you know, not that it's a bad idea. But, you know,
but you might have a better diplomatic way of saying that. You might have a better idea.
Yeah, it's just something that they may not have thought of, right? So give me all of your ideas. I'm going to filter through them, and you know, create the best option possible. Sometimes the ideas that they give me don't work. Sometimes people have no clue what they want whatsoever. So it's but what I find with the inspiration that they give me is, what's helpful is their definition of something is going to be different than my definition of something. So it really helps speed up the process. You know, they could say, well, I want a modern backyard. Well, my definition of modern and your definition of modern is going to be something completely different. So even just a simple picture, to just one, could just say, this is what I'm drawn to. Then I can build from that. Got
it. So do you have a lot of clients who will come to you and say, like, literally, here's my space, and I know it, like, I've no clue. We just want a great place to, you know, hang out in, and as you said, outdoor rooms, you know, somewhere to entertain. And do you get clients who are just like, here, it's blank sheet? Do you get some clients like that as well?
Yeah, no, you know, they can be challenging, but it can also be fun as well too. And my project that you know, that you guys are going to feature was one of those clients where they, you know, they knew that they wanted a pool. They didn't know what shape of pool that they wanted, but that was basically it, you know, and make it cool. Sometimes, they have a whole list of things that they want to include. And I always say it's like a puzzle, and it's trying to fit all those pieces together. So you definitely get both sides. Sometimes, you know, and I guess with all of the avenues of design that we have right now with HGTV and Pinterest, and, you know, people can kind of design the art themselves.
Absolutely.
They know what they want.
It's never been easier, really. It's never been easier. Really,
exactly.
You know?
Yeah, and sometimes you just need someone to filter through all those ideas and make them work and fit into the space. Sometimes all the ideas don't fit, you know. You need to sort of pick and choose what's best.
But you must also get clients, because I'm in the creative business as well. I'll be on the digital side, but you must get clients who are just the scope is too huge of their ideas. Like, they've just got a range of stuff, and it's your job to try and narrow it, always to funnel it down, and get rid of the noise, and to try and you know, focus in on what they want. And how do you do that? Is that literally you? Maybe talk through your process a little bit. Is this literally you? You know, I'll call it interviewing the clients, sitting down with the principals in the relationship and stuff like that. I mean, how important is that to have two people sitting there telling you what they want? Presumably, if it's a couple.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, sometimes it's one-sided, and you know, the lady tends to drive a lot of the projects these days.
Absolutely.
But it's good to have both, because, you know, you both need to be on the same page. but yeah, filtering through and picking, sometimes they can't have everything in their backyard that they want. So, okay, well, what's most valuable to you? And usually when you start throwing money at it and throwing figures at it is when you're like, well, I want a built-in barbecue, okay, well, when it comes down to, talking about numbers, okay, well, that built-in barbecue is going to cost you $15,000. And like, oh, okay. Well, maybe I'd rather put that money to better use.
I could pay $5,000 for standalone, and I could just wheel it around, right?
Well, yeah, right. So sometimes they're like, oh, okay, what you think that you wanted isn't really what you wanted at all, and that budget conversation is so important for me as well as for the contractor and for them as well too. I don't want to design something for somebody that could never be achieved. I don't want to get them excited for something that isn't possible. So a lot of people think that they're going to tell somebody a number and then they're just going to run with it or even go above that number. But there's no point in even exercising that if it's just not a reality. We can make something really nice for you with the money that you have. There's always something that can be done. So,
yes, gotcha.
That budget conversation is important.
Yes, absolutely. And that kind of tends to filter out kind of aspirations and stuff like that. Question for you is just to explain to people, there's companies in the outdoor lifestyle sector who are design build. So they'll have designers on staff and they have they're construction companies and they do everything in-house. And there's other companies who just specialize in design like yourselves. And then there's other companies who just specialize in construction and they don't do design. So just explain a little bit, because we love to educate people as well, just to, the public and the consumer, just to explain to them the different ways that they can achieve their I suppose their goals in terms of their backyard. So explain how you work. So you're a designer. So how do you fit with the construction company? How does that all work in terms of the homeowner?
So some people ask me that question, when they call, and why would I go with you versus a design build? And it really depends on what type of person you are. Again, going back to it's really easy to design things on yourself these days. Some people come to me and they say, well, I have an idea. I just need someone to put it down on paper for me. And with those things, like, people like the control. I find now people like the control. They want to kind of slow down. They want to design it the way that they want it designed and have somebody help them do that, just fill in the gaps. A design build is great because you get that one point of contact, everything's done in-house. But there's a lot of fear with clients as well too, that they think that, what the company is proposing is what they want to build, and they want to. Sometimes I've heard that companies can pressure homeowners and say, well, this is what I think you should do because this is how we want to build it. Now, I know contractors probably hate me sometimes because I want to take their designs and make it happen. And not that a construction company doesn't, but I'm not influenced by certain pavers that the company is comfortable working with, right?
You're totally agnostic. You're totally agnostic. You're just totally, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll figure it out, and the contractors that I work with always figure it out. Sometimes they're like, "Well, why'd you do it like that? Why'd you do it like that?" Well, that's what the client wanted, so let's try and give it to them, right? And just giving it one extra step, and thinking more about color choices and different textures, and just making better use of the space. So I've heard both arguments.
Gotcha.
I understand both sides, absolutely. Sometimes people, they again just want that seamless, transition. But the people that I work with, I work with them. I design the project with them, and then I have a range of contractors that I work with and that I'm comfortable working with. So once I've gone through working with them, I understand what the client's like, what their personality is, what their style is, where they're located, and personality, and budget as well. I mean, all of those things come into play. And then I sort of hand select which contractors I think would be best for them, and whether it's getting one quote or two quotes or whatever it is that they're comfortable with, and narrowing down the right contractor for them, and then passing it off to them to take care of them.
it feels like people want to build outside rooms. Can you talk a little bit about that, like places where you would spend time in the summer or summer evenings until late, like rather than coming back into your house? What are you seeing with those, like people call them cabanas or whatever? So what are you seeing there?
Yeah, I mean that's always been a big trend, right? Our season is short here, so maybe they're not sitting outside in the winter. It may not be a four-season room, but out there early in the spring and late into the fall as well too. I mean, if you build a cabana with whether it's a wood-burning fireplace or gas, putting heaters out there, just having that coverage and a little bit of warmth. I mean, you could stay out there for hours on end.
Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen because you sent us some amazing shots of a project you did. So what I'm going to do, let me just grab these. Okay, so we should be able to see. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen. If you can see it, everybody else can see it. So what I've got here is these are just some before pics.
Yep.
I'll just give a quick run through them for people, just to show, because everybody loves before and after, right?
Yes.
So this project here, we can see some work done already on the project. A large backyard, would you say, or kind of medium-sized backyard?
It's a decent-sized backyard. Yeah, they had some landscaping that was done already, as you can see. A lot of armor stone. It's quite a slope from the bottom of the deck, I'd say, down to that fire pit area that you're looking at there. So I think it was about 6 or 7 feet.
Wow.
So it sloped quite a bit, and their request was that they wanted to put in a pool. That was basically their main request, and not sky's the limit, but we want to put a pool and a cabana in and make it beautiful. I mean, you can see the lot there. The backdrop was just beautiful.
Yes.
And because they had this big grade change, we had the opportunity to create this really nice sort of vista.
Yes.
And picking the location for the pool was key, whether it's at the bottom level there where the fire pit is,
Yes.
or up
Yes.
on the upper level for the grass. And the other thing that they didn't know that they wanted was whether it was a straight, like a rectangular pool, or a curvilinear. They were flexible on that. So
Gotcha.
a lot of people are in that same boat, and where they're not really sure which way they want to go. So I'll usually do a couple of quick concepts, and usually you can tell right away whether you're drawn to that rectangular
Gotcha.
or the curvilinear.
Yeah.
And with these people, yeah, it was right away. They saw the curvy pool and they're like, yep, that's the one.
That's the one. That was easy.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to now I've jumped into the what everybody wants to see is the after shots, and again it's absolutely beautiful. So I'll just go through kind of the images. Some are self-explanatory, but maybe just talk us through a little bit where we are here in the build. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll very quickly, I promised to do earlier on, I'll very quickly give a aerial view of the build. I just think that's a nice, kind of a nice overview. So here's the finished build. There's that beautiful pool, patio. So talk us through a little bit about the overall project, and we'll go through the individual images.
So again, yeah, it was picking the right location for the pool, and they had all that existing armor stone on site. So you can see it behind the pool there, and it kind of tiered and layered behind there, created some planting pockets. And because of the vista and the view of the pool, and because it was a concrete pool, it gave us more flexibility in how we could design it, and how we could retain it. And again, it's just, you're a little bit more flexible that way. So with the view, I thought, why not do a vanishing edge on the back end of the pool, and create a really nice feature. They wanted a spa. They had the hot tub before, and now this was an integrated spa. And then with the vanishing edge of the pool as well too, why not use it as a water feature? So that existing fire pit that they had down in the other corner, we flipped it and put it down, so you actually face the vanishing edge of the pool, which was really nice, and worked out really well.
Yeah, let me just go through the images again. This is just one of these projects that kind of catches your breath a little bit there. So that's the edge of the pool. That's your integrated.
Yeah. So restoration hardware type of a vibe is sort of the homeowner's, preference. They like that really wispy with the grasses and the white hydrangeas. And we got to use some really nice products. So the natural stone, the Aramosa on the ground. Nice. We used thermary ash for the decking. So that's a nice sort of higher end wood. Similar to Ipe, but it has a really nice grain to it. Just a beautiful, beautiful product. Pool turned out really nicely. Yes. So that was an engineering, back and forth between myself and the pool company. Todd Pools installed the pool.
Got it.
Beautiful. They were great to work with and had a lot of fun doing it.
So as you say, you utilized the stone that was there already, which is great. Obviously, nobody wants to set aside that investment. That's really beautiful. There's those planting pockets you were talking about. And that kind of vanishing edge of the pool where it falls down, which is really kind of beautiful. And that's a great shot, I think. That vista is beautiful there. So that's what you were talking about trying to integrate that view into the design.
Yeah, I mean, your yard has so many different angles, right? A lot of people just kind of stand with their back to their house and look back, look down into their yard, and that's one view. But you walk to the back of the lot and turn around and look back the other way. I mean, it's a completely different view altogether, right? You need to use that and capitalize on that.
Yeah, this could be my favorite view, I think. Just with standing right back and just the trees and stuff like that, and the way that the backyard and the pool and the stone around the pool is really nice as well. A lot of pools are obviously just regular in-ground pools. They're not designed like this with this kind of waterfall edge. So I think that's really, really interesting and different.
Yeah. The cabana was another request that they had wanted. So with the cabana there, that's that view with the the vista.
This is the side of the cabana, right? With an outdoor shower.
Yeah, I mean, we had I don't want to say a dead space on the wall, but it was a great spot to tuck in that outdoor shower.
Yeah, it's really cool.
They had a little outdoor kitchen over there as well too, and nice. Inside the cabana they had a small little 2-piece washroom.
Got it. So that's the cabana there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Equipment on the one side, and then have a nice living space underneath. Again, extending that season. They got a fireplace in there, TV. They spend so much time in their backyard now. They just are so happy with it.
Yeah, this is the thermary product.
That's the thermary ash. So you can see the grain in it. It's just stunning. It's soft. Sometimes with wood, you could literally walk barefoot and slide your feet across each board and you never get a splinter. Like it's just beautiful. Yeah. Yeah,
there's a bit of a close-up detail. And the fire pit you were talking about. Using
that was spaces. Existing. They wanted to rework that back in, and it was just a perfect spot for it there.
Yeah, it's awesome. So that's a closer of the cabana. We spoke about cabanas earlier. Everybody seems to be, just obsessed with having that outside room. So here's a classic example. You've got everything there you need to spend some time in this room, and again, with the fire, as you said, you can extend your season out or even, start it a little bit earlier, even before your pool opens maybe. So that's really cool space as well.
Yeah.
It
turned out really nice.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. And again,
and the plants are still evolving. It's this project's fairly recent, so again, some stuff dies. I mean, it happens, right? So a couple little pockets are going to go back in and clean up some of the planting, and keep it moving.
I think what's really interesting about the space is I hear a lot of designers talk about multifunctional spaces, and you've got in this particular design you've got several or numerous spaces to kind of chill out in. You've got that seating area up there, you've got a dining area there, you've got your cabana, you've got the poolside, some chairs there, you've got the fire pit. So there's kind of like multiple places where people, and a typical family, you're going to have different groups of people, right? Whether they be teenagers or people in their early 20s and parents and stuff like that. And I kind of experienced that with my family. It's nice to have different spaces in your backyard where you can kind of enjoy the whatever you want to do, peace and tranquility, or play some music.
Yeah, and large enough to expand as well too. I mean, you can see it's a dining table for 6 there, but I know that they have a large family. Once the kids are grown, they're starting to have babies. And So you're able to,
Yes.
you know, the deck is large enough that
Yes,
you can
it's a big
expand
deck.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. So when was this project? Was this recent, like over in the past year type of project?
Past 2 years, I
Nice.
think.
Yeah, very, very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. And in terms of you know, when you go and talk to people, they're looking for, you know, inspiration as well. So I assume you use some of your showcase projects to give people ideas and inspire them, because this kind of stuff is really, really cool here, and certainly it would give a lot of people ideas, I think.
Yeah, like I said before, sometimes it's just little snippets, you know, they
Yeah,
see one portion and they're like, wow, I really like that. I'd like to integrate that. It's not necessarily,
gotcha,
you know,
gotcha.
copying
No,
something.
no, of
It's, you
course,
know,
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
yeah,
And I think that's a beautiful. I think the pool is in the right spot, and the pool is definitely the right shape.
yeah.
It's perfect. Yeah, it's beautiful, and definitely like a rectangular pool or square pool wouldn't have the same effect. That
No,
pool, the way you've designed the curves in that pool, you know, is totally in keeping with the surroundings. So I think that's awesome. I think it's beautiful. Well done.
yeah, thank you.
It's beautiful. Okay, cool. So what we will we'll be posting some of these photos, maybe a gallery, on our Pinterest and on our Instagram, stuff like that. So I'm just going to stop sharing that now. So awesome. That's cool. That's a beautiful project. I love it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So that's been great talking to you today. You know, great to learn a bit more about you, educating people in terms of your process and why, you know, why work with a designer, or what does a designer bring to the table. And, you know, we all know a designer brings a lot to the table in terms of an overall project, whether they work with other companies or whatever. In terms of construction companies, teaming up with those, I think that's really valuable as well. And I think your work in the showcase there and that project is gorgeous, and I think a lot of people will get a lot of ideas from that. So, but it's been great talking to you today.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it, and I want to wish you the best for the rest of 2020. I know you're busy, even though there's not a ton of paving and digging out pools is going to
Lots of
happen.
planning.
Well, I was going to say, this is a great time for people. We always say to people, it's a great time. This is the time to plan. Do not wait until the spring, especially these days, because it's going to be very, very tough, right?
Yeah.
It's just tough to get a contractor to do work now, which is great for that industry. But if you're a consumer, you're living on another planet if you think that you can just pick up the phone and get a project started in the spring. So I'm sure that you'd echo that sentiment. Reach out early.
Yeah, materials as well too. Materials is a big one.
Great point.
People sold out immediately. I mean, you couldn't buy a hammock, you know,
yes,
this
absolutely.
summer. So it's not
that's
even.
Very true. That's
it's not even locking down that contractor at this point.
Got it. It's
getting
materials. Absolutely.
Locking materials. Yeah.
I know. In the paving industry, stone, stuff like that, people have to be very versatile. I've heard kind of horror stories about the manufacturer sourcing the vinyl for pools, and also for like hot tubs. Hot tubs are now, I mentioned earlier, they're huge lead time, and one of the reasons apparently I've heard is from some manufacturers is because the vinyl is on is on back order, and it's just the whole COVID thing disrupted supply and manufacturing, and we're still feeling the effects of that. And that, coupled with the increased exponential demand, is just a kind of it's just like a nightmare scenario for companies. So I think we encourage people, if you want to get something done, if you want to start thinking about it, right, don't prevaricate, right? Just get out there and pick up the phone.
Yeah.
So for you, we will when we share your project photos, we'll make sure to tag you, share your details. We encourage people to click on your social media profiles that we will share, just to keep watching your great work and be inspired by what you do. But it's been great to speak to an awesome lady designer. We decided to run a lady designer showcase. We're not sexist. We just thought it'd be nice, just to show the talent out there. And it's been great to talk to you today. Thank you very much.
Likewise. Yeah. Nice talking to you too.
Okay. Thanks, Meaghan. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.